Shortly after midnight, Titanic's first lifeboats pulled away from the ship. Many were launched with dozens of empty seats. Crew members pleaded for passengers to board, but many simply could not believe the world's greatest ocean liner was doomed. Every empty seat represented another life that might have been saved. As fear slowly spread across the decks, Titanic's musicians continued to play. Their music brought comfort to frightened families and helped keep panic from taking hold. History remembers them not only for their talent, but for their extraordinary courage. Minute by minute, the sea claimed more of the ship. The bow sank deeper into the Atlantic, and the angle of the decks became impossible to ignore. Those watching from the lifeboats realized the impossible was happening before their eyes. Deep inside the ship, the wireless operators refused to abandon their posts. Again and again, they transmitted desperate distress calls into the darkness. Somewhere beyond the horizon, they hoped another ship would hear their plea before it was too late. Across the boat deck, heartbreaking goodbyes unfolded. Husbands kissed their wives. Parents comforted frightened children. Many believed they would see one another again. Tragically, for countless families, these would become their final moments together. As the night wore on, the final lifeboats were prepared. Time was running out. The deck tilted more with every passing minute, making it increasingly difficult for the crew to launch the remaining boats. For those still aboard, hope was beginning to fade. Captain Edward Smith had spent more than 40 years at sea. Now, on what was meant to be his final voyage before retirement, he faced the greatest tragedy of his career. Witnesses later recalled seeing him continuing to oversee the evacuation as long as possible before disappearing into the chaos. His exact final moments remain uncertain. One by one, the ship's lights began to flicker. Engineers below deck fought desperately to keep the generators running. Every extra minute of electricity helped illuminate escape routes and gave passengers precious time. But the battle against the sea could not be won. Then, without warning, the lights went out. For a brief moment, silence seemed to consume the Atlantic. The great ship that had shone so brightly only hours before now vanished into darkness. Under unimaginable strain, the ship could endure no longer. Titanic broke apart. The bow disappeared beneath the Atlantic while the stern remained suspended above the freezing ocean for a few terrifying moments. Then it too began its final descent. At approximately 2:20 in the morning, the stern rose almost straight into the air. Moments later, the RMS Titanic disappeared beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Her maiden voyage had lasted less than 5 days. 1,200 of survivors now found themselves in water colder than ice. The freezing Atlantic quickly claimed countless lives. Those already inside the lifeboats could hear desperate cries echoing across the silent ocean. It was a sound many would remember for the rest of their lives. Just before dawn, the rescue ship RMS Carpathia reached the disaster site. One by one, survivors were lifted aboard. Wrapped in blankets and exhausted from the freezing night, they searched the empty horizon where Titanic had once sailed. The great ship was gone. 14 news of the disaster spread rapidly around the world. Families waited desperately for survivor lists. Newspapers carried heartbreaking headlines as people struggled to understand how the world's most famous ship had been lost on her very first voyage. The tragedy shocked an entire generation. More than a century has passed since that cold April night, yet Titanic's story continues to fascinate the world. The disaster transformed maritime safety forever, leading to stricter lifeboat requirements, continuous radio watches, and international agreements designed to protect lives at sea. Though she rests deep beneath the Atlantic, her story has never been forgotten. The Titanic was more than a ship. She became a symbol of human ambition, innovation, courage, and sacrifice. More than 1,500 lives were lost, but their stories continue to inspire and remind us of the importance of humility in the face of nature. Every brick tells a story, and this was one of history's greatest. Thank you for watching LEGO Tales. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe and join us as we bring more unforgettable stories to life, one brick at a time.